powerful punch of a Titan, the insane mobility of a Hunter, and the constant ability spam of a Warlock, this new light-friendly build combines these elements, an insane super, as well as an addicting gameplay loop, all of which can be done with nothing more than the Witch Queen expansion. Stay tuned, as you'll want to save this build for the future as we inch closer to the addition of Solar 3.0. These intro clips, as well as much of the gameplay seen throughout the video, were captured live at twitch.tv/PixarDonks. Come stop by to see how I create these videos live. What's up guys, my name is PixarDonks and welcome to the channel. I play Destiny 2 on Xbox and my goal with this channel is to provide you guys with creative builds, tips specific to my fellow console gamers, as well as cover niche topics I haven't seen anyone else cover. I hope to provide a unique take on Destiny 2 from the point of view of a console player, as I feel as though most content creators within the community are currently located on PC. I play quite a bit of Destiny and follow the game closely, so I'll try my best to make sure any content here will be on topics I have yet to be seen covered elsewhere. That's it for the intro. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop into the video. In my last video, I touched upon a problem that has been plaguing the Destiny 2 community for years: new player accessibility. I remember my days as a young blueberry searching for build videos on YouTube, only to be disappointed upon learning that many of these loadouts included difficult to obtain weaponry that I did not yet possess, such as the random drop raid exotic the Anarchy, or the Black Forge exclusive Izanagi's Burden. As many new players log in and claim the light for the first time with the start of Witch Queen, I hope to provide builds that can be enjoyed by both veterans and kindergartens alike. In today's video, I will detail a Solar Warlock build that takes advantage of awesome synergies between two forgotten exotics and a relatively unpopular subclass, all of which have been given new life thanks to some recent buffs, as well as the spotlight on elemental well mods brought on by Void 3.0. I will begin by covering the weapons used in each build, as well as the destination or activity they can be earned through upon completion. Moving on, I will cover the subclass options, stat distribution, and armor mods you should be on the lookout for when crafting these builds for yourself. Finally, I will let some background gameplay of each build play out as I discuss any synergies and tips you should be on the lookout for. Let's hop into the first build. Let's take a look at our Solar Warlock build. This build will revolve around the exotic gauntlets, the Sun Bracers, the exotic hand cannon, the Sunshot, as well as the Solar Grenade. Starting with our kinetic weapon of choice, the Fortissimo, this legendary slug shotgun will allow us to execute body shot melee combos in order to proc the Sun Bracers perk, while also being able to roll powerful perk combinations such as Demolitionist and Adrenaline Junkie. It also comes with the origin trait, Vanguard's Vindication, which gives us a small amount of health upon defeating an enemy. This weapon is new this season in the Vanguard playlist and has the chance to drop upon each completion. Our energy weapon of choice, the exotic hand cannon the Sunshot, has been around since the launch of D2, and fun fact, was my first ever exotic. This weapon benefited massively from the recent 40% exotic primary buff, and when combined with certain elemental well mods, becomes an ad clear force to be reckoned with. This weapon also synergizes well with our subclass of choice, as both revolve around burning enemies and explosive damage. Sunshot can be found as a random world drop or purchased from Xur on the weekend. Moving on to our power weapon of choice, the legendary linear fusion rifle, the Cataclysmic. This weapon can roll with a ton of awesome perks, including 4 times the charm and Focus Fury. As this is a relatively close-range focus build, a linear will allow us to safely take out high-health enemies from a distance before moving in to clean up the adds. This weapon is new this season in the Valve the Disciple raid and can be obtained through the loot chest at the end of the first and second encounters. Finally, our exotic gauntlets of choice, the Sun Bracers, come with the exotic perk Helium Spirals, which not only buffs our Solar Grenade, but upon defeating an enemy with a charged melee, grants unlimited grenade energy for 5 seconds. While this exotic is certainly not S tier, it is one of the most fun abilities to proc in the entire game, as your fire team will be left scratching their head, wondering who on earth threw all those grenades. Our subclass of choice will be Bottom Tree Solar, as not only does our loadout work extremely well in combination with the skills on this tree, but I feel as though this is the most underrated subclass in the entire game. Top Tree Dawnblade and Middle Tree Well of Radiance have long overshadowed their bottom tree brother, and it is time it was utilized to its full potential. We will use our melee ability, Igniting Touch, to proc our Sunbracers perk, while also causing solar wells to spawn due to the explosive damage. The other neutral game ability, Phoenix Dive, allows us to rapidly dive towards the ground, recovering health and dealing explosive AoE damage when performed in our super. The final two perks buff our super, turning it into a formidable ad clear option, with Everlasting Flame increasing its duration upon defeating an enemy, and Faded for Flame causing super projectiles to track enemies and launch a wave of fire along the point of impact. Before covering armor mods, there are a few things to note about the stat distribution you should be targeting when running this build. Recovery should be prioritized, as it is the most important stat in the game, especially so on Warlock, followed by Strength, in order to have the option to activate Sunbracers as often as possible. It is important to note that the Discipline stat does not matter much here, as we will be gaining unlimited grenade energy quite often through the Sunbracers exotic perk. Taking a look at our helmet, I have set it to the Solar Energy type in order to slot Well of Life and Ashes to Assets. Well of Life will provide significant health regeneration for 10 seconds upon picking up a Solar Well, and we should have our super quite often with the amount of grenades being thrown thanks to Ashes to Assets. Harmonic Siphon will allow Sunshot to create orbs on multi-kills, a trait at which it excels. Moving on to our gauntlets, an exotic of choice, I have set them to the Stasis Energy type in order to slot Melee Kickstart, which will refund a portion of our melee upon use. Elemental Ordnance synergizes extremely well with Sunbracers and will provide a large supply of solar wells every time we activate Helium Filaments. Our chest has been set to the Solar Energy type in order to slot the mod Explosive Wellmaker. This mod allows any enemy killed by explosive damage from Sunshot, Igniting Touch, or Phoenix Dive while in our super to spawn a solar well. This will be our main source of wells when Sunbracers are not active, as Sunshot works extremely well in combination with this mod. Sliding down to our legs, it does not matter which energy type these are set to, as we will be running the artifact mod Font of Might, giving our Sunshot 25% bonus damage upon picking up a solar well, as well as Absolution, lowering our ability cooldowns with each orb of power. Finally, our bond has been set to the Arc Energy type in order to take advantage of the Charge with Light mod, Radiant Light. This mod's secondary perk gives plus 20 strength and is an extremely strong option in any melee build. The double outreach mods will also feed energy back into our gameplay loop upon casting our Rift, which we should have almost constantly thanks to our high recovery stat and abundance of elemental wells. That is all the information you need to set up this build. I will now let some background footage of another clutch Valve the Disciple final boss kill play out as I note some of the key points to notice when trying this build for yourself. Make sure to lower the health of an enemy first before finishing it off with a charged melee. If an enemy survives your melee attack, you lose the ability to proc the Sunbracers perk until it regenerates, and this disruption to the gameplay loop can be frustrating if you are not paying attention. Additionally, when you do manage to proc your unlimited grenade energy, try and use those grenades to cover as much ground as possible. They do not stack in damage, however, they more than make up for this with the sheer amount of area they are able to lock down. Finally, make sure you are taking advantage of the Phoenix Dive ability, as it is easy to forget this skill is available to you while worrying about the rest of your build. Not only is the health regeneration gain significant, this ability also allows you to fight in the air while always having a safe escape option. That's all for today's video. Thank you to everyone who made it to the end. I hope you found this guide useful, and I hope to see Warlocks everywhere stealing their fire team's frames by taking advantage of this powerful and accessible build in the near future. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for any and all future content and comment down below. What Solar 3.0 subclass are you most excited to try first? Until next time, PixarDonks has left the building.